in life,
Wow.
more or less. It was a touchy-feely type thing, you know. Everybody running. Priscilla Ranselhoff, one of the psychologists, she had done, you know, all this stuff. So I asked the Helen Dudley was the trainer, was the person that was taking charge of the training, and so I told her when we had our first break, I said, I came to find out about the Federal Women's Program. You know anything about it? And she said, yeah. I said, well, isn't this about? And she said, no, this is about, you know, whatever it was. And so I said, well, would you mind asking, because it might be some other people in here, there were about 30-some women there, who came for the same reason I came. And so I want to get with them and see if we can do something about the Federal Women's Program. Because I thought I was going to learn what I had to do as chairperson of this committee. And so we had, she said, well, you ask them. So we did, and about two women raised their hand, and one other, and a third woman. But the two women that raised their hand, June Chunin and Florence Pertman, they were both from AEC. That was the atomic energy. That was the forerunner to the Department of Energy. And they had really gone all out to try and implement the Federal Women's Program. And the two of them were re-entering, after having their children, re-entering the workforce. And they didn't have them in the budget. So they had split jobs so that people could come in part-time. They had a lot of innovative things that were going on at it. And then one other person there that had heard about it. But the rest of them hadn't. So that's the way we got started.
So let's just pause right here to talk a little bit about the Federal Women's Program, because some of the people may not know what the Federal Women's Program was designed to do, and it was designed to be a monitor, if you will, of women's progression in the workforce, monitoring statistics, monitoring recruitment. And so Michelle and I both, we work for the Department of Commerce, and we are both EEO directors. So Michelle, talk a little bit about how we manage our programs in terms of the statistics, working with EEOC, and how that all comes to play with our organization. And then I'll come back and talk a little bit about my area on the board as it relates to compliance. Because what you'll find with us, and particularly Michelle and I, because we're still working, is that what we do in our day jobs and what we do for the federally employed women, it all works together. So it's a clash of our passion on the job and off the job, and so it makes for a beautiful tapestry of our work. So let's talk a little bit about what we do on the day job, how we manage it with the federally employed women, because it all connects.
So as Allie indicated, as relates to the Federal Women's Program, that was identified within the Executive Order 11375, indicating that agencies should have a Federal Women's Program manager in place. The reason for that was to ensure that there was equity in the workplace as related to providing career opportunities, promotion, equal access to awards, training, all of those things that are vitally important for women within the government for us to ascend to some of the higher levels. And as Nicole has indicated, we look at the data. We look at the workforce data. The workforce data tells us where these positions are within the federal sector. It tells where the women are located within the federal sector. Just one example of that. If you were to poll most federal agencies, I think that you would find that for most mid to lower level administrative clerical positions, the majority of individuals holding those positions are minorities and women. So it's vitally important that you have a Federal Women's Program manager in place, because that's the voice at the table that's going to be able to advocate for women within the federal sector. Now, how does FEW work, or FEW work, to support the Federal Women's Program? We want to make sure that those discussions that are held at the federal level, we as an organization carry forth those issues to the Office of Personnel Management. We've also spoke with the Council of Women and Girls at the White House, as well as the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Why is that important? because these issues remain. They're prevalent. So we want to make sure that we as National Board of Directors for FEW, we want to make sure as we advocate that we educate as well, bringing forth the concerns that women currently face within the federal sector.
Yeah, and that's good. And one of the things I think that's a little troubling for me is that, you know, you have some women who, you know, appear to have made it. And I say appear to have made it because as long as, you know, we don't have parity and equality for all of us, none of us really have made it. And so for me, the organization is just as vital today as it was when it was started in 1968. And so, Miss Allie, tell us about the women who came together to say that, you know, there's something wrong with this picture and we want to start this organization to focus on these issues. But I do like, Michelle, did you like that? The women, when they got the award and they went to the White House ready to talk about something else. I love it. That's how we handle situations. Take full advantage of every opportunity you have. That's right. So I like that. Did you like that?
I did.
That sounds like something that Michelle and I would do in a meeting.
Yes.
And we have done it when we've met with the upper level management in our agency. So tell us about what went into that planning.
Well, the planning, I asked at the last day, it was a 3-day thing, and I had changed her agenda so much. So until I asked her, I said, would you mind making an announcement before we leave here? Because it had stirred up a lot of people were just saying, oh, I didn't know that, you know, and all of this kind of stuff. And so I asked Helen to make an announcement, see who would like to get together so we can find out and who is doing something about the agencies implementing the Federal Women's Program and getting a Federal Women's Program manager. Because many of the agencies I went to, they hadn't even started anything. So the organization was really